3 months. 3 months after ordering, and my Italian luxury watch has finally arrived. To be honest, following my research for the Filippo Loreti documentary that we released, I had my doubts that this would ever turn up at all. There are quite literally hundreds of reports of backers never getting their items, so it looks like I was one of the lucky ones, I guess. Admittedly, this is still a far cry from the advertised 5 to 11 business day delivery that I paid the additional fee for, and I also guess there's a chance that they discovered the pseudonym that we placed the order under, and they just sent it either due to our online presence or perhaps because they saw the video. I doubt we'll ever properly know for sure. Either way, now that we've got it, I think we should take a closer look at it to see how it stacks up against some of the crazy claims they're making in these marketing campaigns. After all, in this box should be an Italian luxury watch that's equivalent to other options at 8 or 16 times the retail price. In essence, if those claims are accurate, this shouldn't be far off the likes of a brand like Tudor when it comes to fit and finish. I found a few interesting things when it came to the unboxing. On the outer bag, you can see that the package was shipped from Lithuania as I anticipated, not Italy. As I discovered last time, these watches are not manufactured in Italy. Instead, they're made in China, and the brand's got no connection to Italy whatsoever, despite what the marketing would have you believe. Yeah, the brand's based out of Lithuania, so I'm assuming that's why it's coming from there. Additionally, remember when I said I ordered this in mid-September? Well, from the looks of this package, my order wasn't dealt with until November 25th, over 2 months later. As some of you suggested in the comments of the other video, perhaps this is due to them having to meet some sort of minimum order quantity for the manufacturer to be willing to actually produce them. However, that's no excuse, as customers aren't made aware of this delay when purchasing. In fact, I'd argue that they just openly lied to me. Also, the internal box had grease marks and dirt all over it and a dent in the corner. The outer packaging was sealed, so this is the state in which it must have left the factory. Does this really leave a luxury first impression?
Computer says no.
While the watch was rather loose inside, it does appear damage-free, so I guess the box has technically done its job. Something else worth touching on is that there didn't seem to be any documentation offering incentives for positive reviews, which I thought may be the case due to the really suspicious reviews online. They did send us a follow-up email that did hint at giving me a 5 out of 5 experience, but that was about it. And after thinking about it, this just makes me more suspicious about those reviews on the likes of Trustpilot, and obviously their own site, which is just extreme. Let's go through exactly how these watches are pitched. Then we'll compare the claims to the product that I've got in front of me. In their adverts and on their Kickstarter, they claim world-class craftsmanship, luxury quality, and a final product equivalent to other watches that cost up to 5 figures. Let's return to the real world for a second. This watch features stainless steel construction and a flat sapphire crystal, which is decent enough. However, when you look closer, you can quickly tell that this is far from a 10 grand piece of luxury craftsmanship. First up, the watch uses a basic Miyota quartz movement. You can grab for around a tenner individually. A big company can probably obtain these for a fraction of that when ordered en masse. A basic movement like this rarely makes its way into watches at the £500 mark, let alone multiple times that, which is what they're comparing themselves to. While this movement will still offer good accuracy, it won't be as accurate as those included in most luxury-level quartz watches, and lacks the basic craftsmanship found in other mechanical watches for half the price of this one. To say that these watches all offer world-class craftsmanship is absurd from the inclusion of this movement alone. I've showcased on this channel that you can easily grab basic quartz movements like this in watches that retail for way under 50 quid. Unlike the marketing suggests, Moonphases aren't just found in watches costing 5 times this one. If you've got a few seconds, just do a quick search on AliExpress or Amazon, and you'll find that you can easily grab these on watches that cost a fraction of the price of this one. Luckily, the quartz movement does allow the case of this model to be quite thin. It's a sleek 8.7mm. While I like the colourway and the finishing is satisfactory too, it's satisfactory for a near £200 watch, not a watch that should be costing 5 figures. In fact, I think this Casio MDV106 has comparable, if not better finishing than the Filippo Loreti. Yet this watch often retails for under £50 in the United States. Luckily, there are plenty of YouTube channels that specialise in luxury watches, and they have some great B-roll shots of them too. You can see from a handful of examples that the level of machining and precision is a world away from this Filippo Loreti. While it doesn't look bad, it's just not at that level whatsoever. To my surprise, I found no manufacturing faults with the watch, and it seems to be fully functional. I've got to give credit where it's due, and I've seen sloppy quality control on other watches at similar prices to this, yet this unit doesn't have any. In that vein, let's run through my overall thoughts on the watch, apart from the fact that it isn't luxury. First up, it's pretty comfortable on wrist. It doesn't move about much and is fairly lightweight too. Despite being rather thin and having a 40mm width, it still doesn't fit my narrow 6¼ inch wrist due to the fairly long 48mm lug-to-lug size. Fairly long in comparison to the diameter at least. I'd have preferred these to be shorter, as in their current state they protrude way past the spring bars and seem sharp enough to catch and tug on long sleeve clothing. If you have small wrists, these will stick out rather noticeably too. This is rather unusual, I can't say I've come across it on a watch before. The crown is easy to grip and operate, and it features some sort of star symbol on it. As far as I know, this isn't the Filippo Loreti logo, so it must be some sort of artistic choice. Maybe some famous Italian shape, I don't know. The case rear has also been rather intricately decorated, with an engraving of the Basilica di San Marco, which honestly would look right at home if it were on an Italian watch.
Look how they mess with my boy.
It's held in place by 4 screws, which can seal the watch to an advertised 5-bar water resistance, which is reasonable for the cost and style of the piece. While not horrendous, the buckle doesn't fit the slick design language found in the rest of the watch. This widens towards the tip, leaving a bulky shape that looks like it's been taken from another gold watch. It doesn't feature any sort of branding, which is typically found on most watch brands as well. This is likely done in the name of minimalism or cutting costs. I'll let you decide which. Overall, I think the dial is quite attractive. It's too flashy for my taste, but I just ordered the watch that they feature on all the adverts, so I didn't have much choice. At a distance, the raised chapter ring gives the watch somewhat of a unique look, and the blue sunburst effect is rather striking. I think the handset is a good choice too, with the faceted alpha hands showcasing a split, polished, brushed design that appears to have been executed to a high standard considering the cost of the watch. Unfortunately, the rest of the watch doesn't hold up on a macro level. The hour markers look flat and cheap, the subdials aren't cut very precisely, and the logo is simply stamped onto the surface. The design language is cohesive, and I have seen much worse elsewhere. That being said, up close it looks like a £40 to £50 watch that you could just pick up from AliExpress. And it's a world away from the level of detailing that you might expect on a luxury watch. The handcrafted Italian leather strap is probably the best part of the package. This feels decent and durable, so should last you rather well. If you want another though, you're talking an additional £39. Which these are nowhere near worth, so don't bother with that. Is it suitable for a £180 watch? Yeah, to be honest, it's better than most. Is it as luxury and top tier as the marketing suggests? Absolutely not. We're seeing a theme here. As a whole, the watch is almost exactly what I was expecting. A basic watch that is half decent, but has been overhyped to the point that it will most likely only disappoint you. To me, it's clearly not what was promised in any of the marketing. That's if you end up receiving it, which is unlikely in itself. Has any money saved from cutting out the middleman being used to give you a better product for less money? Well, I haven't seen any evidence of that, let alone a product at multiple times the retail price. I've seen worse from other brands, that's for certain. However, it's everything that surrounds the brand which has caused me to have such distaste. Let me know your thoughts on Filippo in the comments. Check out that documentary next, it's in the iCard above, well worth a watch, and I'll see you in that one.